Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Cambridge English Walking Podcast. I'm Slava.
And I am Victoria. We are absolutely thrilled that you are walking with us today. Thank you so much for clicking on this video and spending your time with us.
Usually, if you watch our channel, you know that we record our walking podcasts in our beautiful, quiet home city of Cambridge. But right now, we are on day 2 of our London trip. We arrived here yesterday, and the energy in this city is just completely different.
It really is. Today's podcast is very special. We are recording this video specifically for the B1 intermediate level. So if you already know basic English and you want to push your vocabulary to the next level to sound more natural, this is the perfect lesson for you.
Right now, we are starting our walk on a very famous, very busy street called the Strand.
Oh, the Strand is magnificent. It is a major historic street that connects the old City of London with the political center of Westminster. Hundreds of years ago, before they built the modern riverbanks, the Strand ran right next to the water, and it was filled with massive mansions belonging to rich noblemen. Today, it is full of grand buildings, historic theaters, and beautiful old shops.
It is a stunning place to start, and our goal today is to walk from here, on the Strand, down towards the River Thames, and by the very end of this podcast, we will arrive at the most iconic view in the whole city, the famous Big Ben and the London Eye.
Exactly. It is going to be a fantastic walk. And while we walk towards Big Ben and the London Eye, we're not just going to show you the sights. We have a massive, super useful English lesson for you today. Slava, tell them what we are doing.
Today, we are focusing on natural English phrases and idioms for daily life. Why are phrases so important? Listen, you can study grammar books for 10 years. You can memorize single vocabulary words. But if you only use single words, your English will sound like a textbook. It will sound a bit like a robot.
That is so true. When native speakers talk, they don't use perfect, slow grammar. They use idioms, they use slang, they use phrases that stick together. If you learn these whole phrases, you will sound so much more natural. You will sound relaxed. And most importantly, you will actually understand what British and American people are saying to you on the street.
Exactly. So, get comfortable. Put your phone in your pocket, put on your headphones, enjoy the beautiful views of London through our camera, and let's start our mega lesson. Victoria, let's kick things off. What is our very first phrase today?
Let's start with the most basic thing, saying hello. But please stop saying, hello, how are you? I am fine, thank you. Native speakers rarely say that. Instead, we say, how's it going? You hear this everywhere, in cafes, in offices, on the street.
Oh, absolutely. It's just a friendly, casual way to check in on someone. For example, if I walk into the office in Cambridge on a Monday morning, I look at you and say, "Morning, Victoria. How's it going?"
And my answer usually depends on how much coffee I've had. I might say, it's going well, thanks. Or if I'm tired, I might say, pretty good, just a bit busy. Another super common one is, what's up?
Yes, what's up is great, but learners always get confused by this. When someone says, what's up, they're not looking at the sky. They're asking, what is happening in your life right now? If you say, hey Slava, what's up? I can just answer, not much, just walking down the Strand with a camera.
It is so relaxed. Now imagine we're walking here in London and suddenly we see a friend from university. We haven't seen this friend for 5 years. We wouldn't just say, hello. We would scream, long time no see.
I love that phrase. It doesn't make grammatical sense if you translate it literally, but it is the perfect phrase to show surprise and happiness. Wow, John, long time no see. You look exactly the same.
Okay, let's move on to what people do when they have free time. If someone asks you what you are doing on a lazy Sunday afternoon, you can use the phrase, I'm just chillin'.
Chilling. To chill literally means to make something cold, like chilling a bottle of water in the fridge. But for people, it means to relax completely. If I'm lying on the sofa in my sweatpants, watching a documentary and eating crisps, I am definitely chilling.
And if you are doing that with a friend, you use the phrase hang out. To hang out means to spend time with someone with no real plan, just relaxing together. Slava, do you want to hang out this weekend?
Sure, Victoria. Let's hang out at the park. We can bring some sandwiches. Speaking of sandwiches, look at that bakery over there. It smells amazing. That brings us perfectly to our next phrase. Grab a bite.
I use this phrase almost every single day because you are always hungry. Grab a bite means to eat a quick meal or a snack when you don't have time for a massive dinner.
It's true, I am always hungry. When you're exploring a city like London, you don't always want to sit in a fancy restaurant for 2 hours. You just want to say, hey, let's grab a bite at that street food market and keep walking.
And why don't we have time? Because usually we are in a hurry. That is our next phrase. To be in a hurry means you are rushing. You are moving fast because you don't have time.
Look at the people walking past us right now. Londoners walk so fast. They're always looking at their watches. If a tourist stops a Londoner and asks for directions, the Londoner might say, I'm so sorry, I can't talk right now. I'm in a hurry to catch my train.
And the reason they're in a hurry is usually because they are running late. This is the story of my life. Running late means you are behind schedule.
Oh, don't I know it. Every time we film a podcast, I'm standing outside waiting, and you text me, Slava, I'm so sorry. I couldn't find my keys. I'm running late.
Hey, that only happened twice this month. But yes, if you are running late, you might need to tell the other person to wait for you. You can say, hold on a second.
Hold on a second. It simply means, wait one moment. Victoria, the train leaves in 5 minutes. Let's go. Hold on a second. I need to tie my shoelaces. It is much more natural than saying, please wait for me.
Now, let's talk about the chaos of adult life. Some weeks you just never stop moving. You can describe this by saying, I'm on the go.
To be on the go means to be constantly busy and moving from one place to another. How was your week, Slava? Oh, it was crazy. I was on the go non-stop, filming, editing, traveling. I barely had time to sleep.
And usually when we have a day off, we still have to run errands. This is a very important phrase for daily life. Errands are those small, boring tasks you have to do outside the house.
Yes. Going to the post office to mail a package, going to the dry cleaners, going to the bank, going to the pharmacy. I can't hang out on Saturday morning, Victoria. I have to run errands. Nobody likes running errands, but we all have to do it.
Sometimes your errands include the phrase, pick up. This is a phrasal verb with a few meanings. You can pick up an object from a shop. Slava, can you pick up some milk on your way home?
Or you can pick up a person. If my sister flies into London Heathrow, she will call me and say, Slava, my flight landed. Can you come pick me up in your car?
Exactly. Okay, let's shift gears and talk about work and getting things done. In fact, our next phrase is literally get things done.
This phrase is all about focus and productivity. When you have a massive list of tasks, you need to turn off Instagram, put your phone on silent, and say, right, I need to get things done today.
But you cannot work like a machine forever. After a few hours, you must take a break. This means to pause what you are doing, step away from your desk, and rest.
I have been editing this video for 4 hours straight. My eyes hurt. I am going to take a break, make some tea, and look out the window. It is so important for your mental health.
And when it reaches 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. and you are completely exhausted, what do you say? You say, let's call it a day.
I love saying this. Call it a day means you officially declare that work is finished for today. We have written 10 pages of the script. My brain is empty. Let's call it a day and go to the pub.
If you are working super late, maybe at 10 p.m. or 11 p.m., the phrase changes slightly. You say, let's call it a night. It is midnight, Slava. The video is almost finished, but let's call it a night before we make a mistake.
And after you call it a night, you eventually go to your bedroom and you hit the hay.
Hit the hay. It sounds so funny. Hay is dried yellow grass that cows and horses eat on a farm. Hundreds of years ago, people slept on mattresses stuffed with hay. So hitting the hay just means going to sleep. I am absolutely exhausted. I'm going to hit the hay.
But why are you so exhausted, Victoria? Probably because the night before you were burning the midnight oil.
Yes, this is a very poetic phrase. Before electricity, people used oil lamps to read and work at night. So burning the midnight oil means you are working or studying very, very late into the night. I have my final university exam tomorrow. I will definitely be burning the midnight oil tonight.
The problem is, if you burn the midnight oil, the next day at work, you will be running on fumes.
Imagine a car. You drive it for hundreds of miles, the petrol indicator goes down to 0. There's no liquid fuel left, only the invisible gas, the fumes. If a human is running on fumes, they are physically and mentally empty, but they are still trying to function.
I drank 4 espressos today, but I only slept for 2 hours. I am totally running on fumes right now.
A shorter, much more casual way to say you are tired is simply, I'm beat.
How was that marathon you ran on Sunday, Victoria? Oh my goodness, I am beat. I cannot feel my legs. I'm going to lie on this floor.
Now, what if you are not just tired, but you actually feel sick? In English, we try to be polite, so we don't always say, I am sick. We say, I'm feeling under the weather.
This is the most classic British phrase ever. I am so sorry I cannot come into the office today, boss. I have a sore throat and a cough. I am feeling a bit under the weather. It sounds much softer than saying I have a terrible virus.
Okay, let's pause for a second. Look to our right. We're getting closer to the River Thames now. The architecture here is just stunning.
It really is. London is beautiful. Okay, let's talk about phrases for describing how easy or difficult something is. If something requires absolutely 0 effort, you can say, it's a piece of cake.
I love cake, and I love this phrase. Slava, you cooked dinner last night for 10 people. Was it stressful? No, Victoria, it was a piece of cake. I just made a huge pot of pasta.
Actually, cooking for 10 people is a nightmare for me, but I appreciate the example. Another great phrase for something very simple, especially a decision, is it's a no-brainer.
If you don't even need to use your brain to make a choice, it's a no-brainer. Hey Slava, my boss offered me a new job. I do the exact same work, but they pay me double the salary. Should I accept it?
Are you crazy? Of course you accept it. That is a complete no-brainer. But life isn't always that easy. Sometimes a situation is awful. It is difficult, it is painful, but you cannot escape it. In that case, you have to bite the bullet.
Bite the bullet. This comes from old military history, where soldiers had to bite on a lead bullet during surgery without anesthesia. Today, it means forcing yourself to do something you really hate.
My car engine is making a terrible noise. It is going to cost a lot of money to fix. But I need my car for work, so I just have to bite the bullet and take it to the mechanic. You don't want to do it, but you have to.
If you have a big decision to make and you are not ready to decide right now, you can tell the person, I'll sleep on it.
This is very wise advice. It means you will take a night to rest, think about the options, and give your answer the next morning. Do you want to sign the contract to buy this house? It is a huge decision. Let me sleep on it, and I will call you tomorrow.
Speaking of buying a house, let's talk about money. If something is ridiculously, painfully expensive, you say, it costs an arm and a leg.
This is so true, especially here in London. We went to a restaurant in central London last night. We only had 2 burgers and 2 drinks, and the bill was £80. It cost an arm and a leg.
It really does. But if you have a generous friend, they might look at that expensive bill and say, it's on me.
I love hearing those words. It's on me simply means I will pay for this. Put your credit card away, Victoria. You paid for the train tickets today, so lunch is on me.
Thank you very much. I will remember that promise. Now, if a situation is brilliant for everyone involved, we call it a win-win.
A win-win situation. It means there are no losers. Victoria, if you edit the video tonight, I will write the script for tomorrow. That way, we both get to sleep early. It's a win-win.
Okay, let's talk about communication and teamwork. When you are talking with someone and you realize you have the exact same understanding of a plan, you say, we are on the same page.
This is so important in business. Before we end this meeting, let's make sure we are all on the same page regarding the deadline. The project is due on Friday, correct?
Yes, exactly. Now, if someone says something that is 100% correct, absolutely perfect, you can tell them, you are spot on. Or you can use a longer idiom, you hit the nail on the head.
Hitting a small metal nail with a hammer requires perfect accuracy. So if you hit the nail on the head, you are exactly right. Victoria, you said that our podcast needs more humor to keep the audience engaged. You hit the nail on the head. Your analysis was spot on.
But you have to be careful with communication. Sometimes people talk too much. If you accidentally reveal a secret, you spill the beans.
Oh, this is the worst. Imagine someone's face when they realize what they did. We were organizing a secret surprise birthday party for Sarah. And what did David do? He walked up to Sarah and asked what kind of cake she wanted. He completely spilled the beans.
David is terrible at keeping secrets. On the other hand, if someone says, I have the craziest story to tell you, you should look at them and say, I'm all ears.
I'm all ears. It means you have my 100% undivided attention. Slava, you will never believe what happened to me on the train this morning. Oh, really? Tell me, Victoria. I'm all ears.
But beware, sometimes people tell you a crazy story just to trick you. If they are joking with you, trying to make you believe a lie for fun, they are pulling your leg.
Wait, you're telling me that the King of England invited you for tea? No, Slava, look at your face. I'm just pulling your leg. It's a very lighthearted way of teasing someone.
And what happens if someone tells you a name or a fact and you feel like you know it, but you just can't remember the details? You say, that rings a bell.
Hey, Victoria, do you remember a guy from our university named Thomas Jenkins? Thomas Jenkins. That name rings a bell, but I can't picture his face. It means a little alarm is ringing in your memory, but it's not clear yet.
Now, when we haven't seen someone for a long time and we finally meet them, we need to catch up. This is a very warm social phrase.
Yes. To catch up means to share news about your lives since the last time you met. It was so great to see my old school friends. We sat in the pub for 4 hours just drinking beer and catching up.
But catch up has a stressful meaning too. If you go on holiday for 2 weeks, when you return to the office, you have to catch up on your work. It means doing all the tasks you missed.
I have 300 unread emails in my inbox. I need to spend all day Sunday catching up. And when you have that much work, how do you feel? You feel swamped.
Swamped. A swamp is a wet, muddy area of land where you sink if you step in it. So if you are swamped with work, you feel like you're sinking under papers and responsibilities. Can you come to the cinema tonight? I wish I could, but I am completely swamped with studying.
When you are swamped, you need a good colleague to help you. If you ask a colleague for a favor and they want to show they will handle it immediately, they say, "I'm on it."
I love working with people who say this. Slava, the client needs that document in 10 minutes. Can you format it? Don't panic, Victoria. I'm on it. It gives you instant peace of mind.
Now, in business or in anything you build, you must never cut corners.
To cut corners means to do a job cheaply, quickly, and badly. You skip the important steps. The builder cut corners when he built this roof, and now every time it rains, water leaks into the house.
Exactly. Instead of cutting corners, a true professional will do the opposite. They will go the extra mile.
This means putting in extra effort, doing more than what is expected of you to make something excellent. The receptionist at our hotel didn't just give us a map. She spent 20 minutes writing down all her favorite local restaurants for us. She really went the extra mile.
Sometimes, to be excellent, you have to be creative. If you have a difficult problem, your boss might tell you to think outside the box.
The box represents normal, standard, boring thinking. To think outside the box means to find a completely new, innovative solution. We have no money for television advertising. We need to think outside the box and go viral on social media.
But what if your out-of-the-box idea is a complete disaster? Well then, you have to go back to the drawing board.
Architects and designers use drawing boards to sketch their plans. So going back to the drawing board means your current plan failed and you have to start all over again from zero. The customers absolutely hated our new flavor of chocolate. Well, back to the drawing board, guys.
Hopefully, your next idea will be cutting edge.
Oh, cutting edge describes the very latest, most advanced version of a technology, medicine, or idea. The hospital just bought a cutting-edge laser machine for eye surgery.
Okay, let's talk about office politics. This is a dark one. What happens when a colleague makes a mistake, but they blame you so the boss doesn't get angry at them? They throw you under the bus.
Oh, it is the worst feeling. Imagine a giant double-decker bus and your friend pushes you under the wheels. I can't believe Jessica. We both forgot to prepare the slides, but she told the manager it was entirely my fault. She totally threw me under the bus.
Speaking of the future, if your plans for a project or a holiday are not confirmed yet, you can say, "It's up in the air."
Are we going to Paris for New Year's Eve? I'm not sure yet. We haven't booked flights, so the plan is still completely up in the air.
If everything is up in the air, you might decide not to worry about strict schedules. You might say, "Let's play it by ear."
Oh, this comes from music. Playing a song by ear means playing it without looking at the sheet music. You just listen and feel it. In life, it means improvising. What time do you want to have dinner tomorrow? I don't know when I will finish work. Let's play it by ear. Call me around 6 p.m.
And if your friend is worried about a problem that hasn't even happened yet, you use the classic idiom, "Let's cross that bridge when we come to it."
Such a great visual phrase. What if it rains on the day of our outdoor wedding next year? Listen, we haven't even sent the invitations yet. Let's cross that bridge when we come to it. Don't stress about future hypotheticals.
Now, if you are making a decision with a friend, like where to eat, and you really don't care, you can say, "It's up to you."
Do you want Indian food or Chinese food tonight? I love both. It's totally up to you. It puts the power in their hands.
But if you were asked for your opinion on a serious debate, and you cannot decide which side is right, you are Sitting on the fence.
Are you supporting the new tax law or are you against it? To be honest, I can see good arguments for both sides. I am still sitting on the fence.
If you walk into a room full of strangers at a networking event, it is usually very awkward and quiet. You need someone to break the ice.
Ice is cold and hard. Breaking the ice means doing or saying something to warm up the room and make people feel relaxed. Nobody was talking at the dinner party, so Slava told a hilarious story about his dog to break the ice.
Once the ice is broken, you can start the actual work. You say, "Let's get the ball rolling."
To get the ball rolling means to start a process. We only have 1 hour to clean this entire house before the guests arrive. Grab a mop, let's get the ball rolling.
Sometimes you want to hear someone else's idea before you start. You ask, "What do you have in mind?"
You said we should buy an unusual gift for Mom's birthday. What do you have in mind? A hot air balloon?
And when you're done joking around and it's time to be serious, you say, "Let's get down to business."
All right, everyone, the coffee break is over. Open your laptops. Let's get down to business and review these sales numbers.
If the sales numbers are really bad, you might have to start the conversation with the phrase, "Let's face it."
This is used when you have to admit an uncomfortable truth. Let's face it, guys, our product is too expensive and our competitors are beating us. We have to lower our prices.
If one of your competitors tells you a rumor or someone on the internet gives you crazy advice, you must take it with a grain of salt.
This means to view something with skepticism. Do not believe it 100%. My uncle read on Facebook that drinking vinegar cures all diseases. Yeah, I'm gonna take that with a massive grain of salt.
If a machine is broken, like an ATM or a vending machine, you will see a piece of paper taped to it that says, "Out of order."
I tried to buy a train ticket, but the machine is out of order. We have to go to the ticket window.
Now, imagine you are packing for a trip to the Sahara Desert. It is 40 degrees outside, but you pack a thick woolen jumper. Your friend asks why. You reply, "Just in case."
Just in case means preparing for a scenario that is highly unlikely, but possible. I know it never snows in June, but I am bringing my winter coat just in case.
If something happens very, very rarely, you say it happens once in a blue moon.
Oh, my brother lives in Australia. He's so busy. He only calls me once in a blue moon.
If you accidentally drop a glass of water and you are apologizing profusely to your host, they will probably tell you, "It's not a big deal."
This means, do not worry, it is not a serious problem. You spilled water on the table? Seriously, it's not a big deal. I have a towel right here.
However, if that same person drops a glass, then breaks a plate, then steps on your cat's tail, you might shout, "That's the last straw."
The last straw is the final small annoyance that makes you lose your temper completely. My boss yelled at me on Monday, he made me work late on Tuesday, and today he stole my sandwich from the fridge. That's the last straw. I am quitting this job.
When someone is absolutely losing their mind with stress, the best thing you can say is, "Take it easy."
Take it easy, Slava. Deep breaths. The flight isn't for another 3 hours. We will make it.
And if they're going through a long, difficult process, like studying for medical exams, you tell them, "Hang in there."
It means do not give up. Endure the pain. It will get better. I know you are exhausted from studying, but hang in there. The exam is only 2 weeks away.
If a friend invites you to do something you really don't enjoy, you can decline politely by saying, "It's not my cup of tea."
English people love tea, so this idiom is perfect. Do you want to come to a poetry reading tonight? Thank you for the invite, but poetry really isn't my cup of tea. I'd rather go to the pub.
If you miss that poetry reading because you forgot, you say, "It slipped my mind."
Oh my goodness, it was your anniversary yesterday. I am so sorry I didn't text you. It completely slipped my mind.
When you're ready to go, you can stand up and say, "Time to hit the road."
Hitting the road means leaving and starting your journey home. Look at the time. It's almost midnight. We really need to hit the road.
When you say goodbye to someone, you add, "Keep in touch."
It was so nice meeting you at this conference. Here's my card. Let's keep in touch. It means let's continue to communicate in the future.
If you find out that you and another person share the same struggle, you are in the same boat.
You are stressed about the mortgage rates increasing? Tell me about it. We are all in the same boat.
And when you get an amazing chance in life, you must make the most of it.
You got a scholarship to study in Paris for a year. You have to make the most of it. Travel, eat cheese, learn French. Don't just stay in your room.
Eventually, people get tired of traveling, and they decide to settle down.
To settle down means to establish a stable, permanent life. Buy a house, get a steady job, maybe get a dog. Mark spent his 20s backpacking across Asia, but now he's ready to settle down in London.
Before someone performs in a play or goes for a job interview, you tell them, "Break a leg."
Yes, do not tell them to actually break their bones. In the theater world, saying good luck is considered bad luck, so they say break a leg to mean do a great job.
If you want to summarize all of these crazy phrases we just learned into a short sentence, you say, "In a nutshell."
Confident and bright, like a great teacher. In a nutshell, learning English idioms will make you sound like a native speaker faster than anything else.
And finally, after a long walk down the Strand, we can happily say, "Let's wrap it up."
Laughing with relief, very positive. To wrap a present means to finish putting the paper around it. To wrap up an event means to conclude it. My legs are getting tired, Slava. Let's wrap this podcast up.
And look up, Victoria! Look right through the camera, listeners. Look at what is standing tall right in front of us.
Wow, we made it! There it is, the most typical, classic view of London in the entire world. Big Ben, glowing right here, and just across the river, the massive wheel of the London Eye.
It is absolutely breathtaking. We walked from the busy street of the Strand all the way down here, and this view never gets old. The Elizabeth Tower holding Big Ben is just incredible. We really hit the nail on the head with our timing today. We arrived exactly as we finished our massive list of phrases.
We certainly did. Listeners, we are so proud of you for walking with us the whole way. You now have an incredible vocabulary arsenal. You know how to talk about being swamped, running on fumes, sitting on the fence, and biting the bullet.
If you didn't remember every single phrase, do not worry. That is completely normal. Save this video, listen to it again while you are cleaning your house or driving to work. Repetition is the key.
Now, before we officially call it a day, it is time for your homework. We want you to go down to the comment section below this video, pick your favorite phrase from today's walk, and write a sentence about your own life using that phrase.
I promise I will read your comments and I will reply to you. It is the best way to practice.
If you found this B1 Walking podcast helpful and you loved seeing London from our point of view, please subscribe to the Cambridge English Walking podcast.
Hit the like button. It really helps our channel grow. Keep in touch, keep practicing your English, and make the most of your day.
We'll see you in our next walking adventure. Break a leg with your English studies. Take it easy, everyone.
Goodbye from London.